And there we are. We are live. And I've been thinking we're going to have a big show all week. Buddy was here 2 weeks ago, skipped out on me last week. And we had a big show 2 weeks ago, a big one last week. Buddy has his date nights that come and go. But I think we're going to have a big show tonight. Buddy's got his eye on the Vanderbilt-Stanford game. 4-2 right now, buddy?
Yeah, I'm checking it. I'll give updates periodically through the show, and good to see you again. Glad to see you are just blowing up. I mean, folks, look.
Yeah.
Mike and I have been talking for a long time, but Jacques talk, he's made the big time, so we're happy for him, and it has been a very active summer, man. Normally I'm doing my golf trips, and we're going like, gosh, it's going to drag on, it's going to be slow, and I'm telling you, with our phones and our activities, it's been nonstop the last 6-8 weeks.
No, it has been. And again, show's been getting bigger and bigger every week. Big thanks to Pride Roofing. We couldn't do it without Mike Faraday and Alex Martinez being the major sponsor and the official roofing company of TigerBait.com. They sponsor us each and every week. Of course, I'm going to talk to them, talk about them a little bit later in the show. And like Buddy said, it's you know, between the start of the dead period ending June 1st and all the recruiting that's been going on, Palmanera retiring, coaching search, all the little tidbits we're getting about the true freshmen at LSU football, the guys who were there and who's gaining weight, new coaching staff, very positive outlook on the upcoming football season. Will Wade adding some basketball recruits, Josh LeBlanc, right, or LeBlanc?
I've got a story about that.
All right. And so, yeah, Kenny just gave us an update, 5-2, bottom of the sixth.
Yeah, I was going to get that update. And don't forget, you had a 2-week love affair with the Kim Mulkey situation.
Yep. Catholic High, of course, was big on Monday and still rolling. I think there's still some fallout on that we can talk about tonight. So big thanks to all of you that are with us each and every week. And we're watching this Vanderbilt game tonight because all of a sudden you had, if you're one of the folks that Vitello's your guy, and I'm wondering if that's an age thing, if you're in a certain age bracket, if that's the guy you want. And I get it, he's a young guy, 38 years old. And then if you're in the Tim Corbin group, or one or two others that in Omaha, we're going to see how this goes. Oh, look at this. Blake Ruffino. Just rolled into the chat, gave me $2.99. We have the super chat turned on. Big thanks, Blake. He had a big show tonight. His show's absolutely blowing up. If you haven't checked out AYS on YouTube, he went over the 1,000 mark last week, which means he's monetized, and all his hard work with what he does on Facebook. Big thanks to Blake. And now I have to pick up a lunch tab. I got to make up for that. So thanks for the super chat. That's something we just got turned on, supposedly. So,
and I'm not happy with you two guys, because now, as little time as I had to myself and that aforementioned girlfriend, now I'm listening to AYS every frickin' night.
Yep.
And it is addicting, and it is interesting, but I'm going to throw something into
Blake is entertaining.
Blake is spicy. He's out there. He loves what he does, and he's not going to hold back anything. But the interesting thing,
he's a Vitello guy, by the way.
Yeah, I know. He said he's a butthole, but he says Nick Saban is one too.
Well, he's got a point there. There is some truth to that.
Well, Tony is 42, and I have affectionately given him the nickname of Tabasco. And since we're talking about Tabasco Tony Vitello, LSU's not in a normal situation. They have had more scrutiny and more crap put up over their head because of a lot of problems. And so I think it is more important than ever for Scott Woodward to do an extensive, complete vetting of these candidates. And the way I was watching Tony, I was doing the radio show and watching Tennessee play. And look, I understand. I talk about it all the time, Mike. These umpires miss a lot of balls and strikes. But lo and behold, and I would have the red ass and do something like this. And so I can't criticize this assistant coach. But he throws his clipboard and proceeds to get thrown out. And then Tony's out there, And my point is that Tennessee baseball fans and their culture or lack thereof deserve Tabasco Tony Vitello.
You know, my thing on Tony is, Coach Vitello, is that I think because of his age,
42.
40, it's 42?
Yeah.
Where am I getting 38 from? Okay.
That was the girl you were talking to last night.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, so I just think he gets to really stake his claim to a legacy. He's not following anybody. You know, he could finish second to Vanderbilt for the 3 of the next 4 years, and they're not going to want to run him out of town. It's a new shiny object over there at the right time, just like when Skip was here and football was in a bad place. They're going to want to keep him. They're going to want to give him a new stadium. You're going to have the fans demanding a new stadium and get up there with everybody else in the league and come out of the Stone Age. And man, it's like, why wouldn't you want to stake that legacy and make that happen? Because they're going to give him what he wants, and he don't have to follow Maneri and not, you know, because if he finishes second in the West 3 of the next 4 years, it ain't going to be the same deal. If he finishes second in the East,
But you know who his agent is?
Jimmy Sexton.
And you know what Jimmy Sexton has done to LSU? He's bent them over backwards,
See, now I think
sideways, and all of this stuff about Tony Vitello was probably leaked by Jimmy Sexton to get more money from Tony Vitello. My point is, Mike, I don't think Scott Woodward is got a track record of hiring the Tony Vitellos. Now you look who he's hired.
Now, I know Oliva didn't want to deal with Jimmy Sexton. That's partially why they didn't go back in on Jimbo the next year. They went in on 15 and they didn't in 16.
But comparing Oliva and Scott Woodward in negotiations for coaches is like comparing me to Shaq.
But I think Scott Woodward would deal with.
And I'm a lot smaller than Shaq.
But I think Woodward would enjoy going toe to toe with Sexton.
But my point is that look, he hired Jimbo, who had won a national championship, over to A&M. He hired Kim Mulkey. Everybody he's hired has had a pedigree. And here's my wrap up on it. We thought it was Kevin O'Sullivan, and I think he was at one point the leading candidate. And there's no doubt they had discussions. But when they went into his closet, there was just too much baggage. And with all of the Title IX and the scrutiny on what's been done, Darius Geis got some charges dropped, but what him and Drake Davis and all of that, that's going to hang on over LSU's head for a couple of years. But my point is this: they can't afford to bring in a Kevin O'Sullivan. Tim Corbin has won multiple championships, and if you don't realize right now he's the lead candidate, then why hasn't there been a coach named? They're going to make him say no. I'm pulling for Vanderbilt to get beat tonight because I think that's the process. He'll go back with his team to Nashville and probably in the office tomorrow and have exit interviews and talk to his players, talk to his AD, who he's not getting along with. And if Vanderbilt loses tonight, I'm a firm believer that we're going to have LSU coach next Monday, because if Corbin tells them no, then they got to get somebody else in here. You don't want to waste any more time, but the reason they haven't had his coach is that Corbin is there to say no. And it's amazing that Woodward has fooled everybody, because I played poker
He
with
hadn't fooled me.
FKI.
He hadn't fooled me. I've been on Corbin for 3 weeks.
I know, but I'm saying all these people guessing. Listen, that's what a good AD does. He doesn't let all the leaks get out with legitimate information.
It's like there's so much baloney. The whole thing has been baloney. O'Sullivan. I mean, if
well, no, that was legit until they saw his baggage.
I know, but I'm talking about the disinformation on guys. Put it this way, if a 16th of the stuff that was out there on O'Sullivan was true, he wouldn't have his job in Gainesville.
Yeah, well, now you did more digging there than I did.
Okay, you know, we've gone over the Casey thing. Bianco, you know, of course, you've had the former players, guys that played with him, local media that go back that Skip's guy, all that. That, you know, people thought that was inevitable. Like I said last Wednesday, but if by Friday he's not the guy, then that tells you. And what did I say? I said last week, he can't let that fester and go for a number of days because it damages his current job. Sure enough, Sunday night, get a release. He's staying at Ole Miss. So
Well, Skip explained that.
Huh?
Skip explained that. Mike could not wait around any longer. He had to make a decision, and this is why I'm so confident that they're going to give Tim Corbin a chance. I've been told for 2 or 3 weeks they've had discussions. He's got problems. That Vanderbilt AD, she's coming in. She's spending a lot of money, time, and effort on building up football, which is the bell cow of any program. And this could be a perfect storm, Kim Mulkey 2.0.
And that's what he does.
But this is 2.0.
Woodward seizes on perfect storms.
And this could be the same scenario that could play out.
Scott Drew wins a national championship in Waco, and Kim's no longer the big cheese. He seized on it.
Well, she wanted to come home, but
that's part of it. But believe me.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's a lot to that story. But here's my point. I think we're going to get. I think by the time you do this show next Wednesday, whether I'm here or not, we'll wait to see. But I think we're going to have an LSU baseball coach by next Wednesday, unless Vanderbilt rallies. And
by the way, guys, sorry, buddy. Before we went live, I got a call saying, "Man, did you see Walker at the Under Armour deal?" Because I was watching before we went live, Vanderbilt, Stanford. I missed the Under Armour show that from the camp held out in Florida a few weeks ago, and Walker Howard was throwing. If you guys know when that's going to rerun, let me know in the comments, please, because I missed it and I want to see it, or at least be able to set my DVR to record that, because I know Walker performed very well, and he's got the Elite 11 coming up here in a couple of weeks. So, Blaine Smith, always one of our best guys. Good evening, Mike and Buddy. Any standouts for football practice? Well, the only thing I've seen out there is, of course, we went out at camp, and football players get to work camps, and you're seeing these guys in polo shirts and shorts. I'm seeing Jacoby and Guillory out there looking lean, 318 pounds. Seeing Jack Besh looks real good. Cole Taylor's up to 250 pounds. So you're seeing a lot of those types of guys. Seeing Glenn Logan with a broken foot, but he told me that he'll be 100% in August. So, but that's one of those things. We talk about that defensive line. If they can stay healthy, Logan's one of those key cogs where you're like, boy, they're going to be able to rotate defensive linemen.
Yeah.
You don't want a bunch of guys like that getting nicked up and having to miss some games. So,
well, don't forget the most important one that you told me about. TDP, folks. I'm pushing him. He's at 218. And if Tyron Davis Price, I think is how he likes to say it, I think if he can stay healthy in fall camp, he's going to be your starter. They're going to play a bunch of people. But I expect this is him and John Emery's
when I'm saying Tyrion all the time, I'm coming across like Les Miles and Jacob Kater.
Please. We don't need to bring in Jacob Kater or Les Miles into.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here, guys. Thanks again for Blake with the super chat. I didn't know that had that rolling tonight. Let's see. Okay, this is in your wheelhouse, buddy, and you know what's going on, and I wanted to get your perspective as a Catholic High alum. Joseph Thaddeus Giat, man, Catholic High with those recruiting violations. What is the pulse on your friends that were Catholic High guys? What you've been getting on your show? What's your feeling on it?
Well, I appreciate you handing me the football. Not that it's not.
Well, I'm gonna get after it too.
I know you are. Look, I've come up with some crazy analogies, but and I know a lot of people are sitting there saying it's one guy who had an axe to grind. Mike and other people have dove into this, and unfortunately, there's a lot of documentation and a lot of stuff that is yet to come out, and it doesn't look good. Now, here's the problem that we all have. Recruiting goes on in high school, college, and even in the pros with free agency. And it's blatant cheating in all of it. You don't think college recruiting is not nasty, especially in basketball, you're living behind a rock. But you follow these high school athletes, and there is recruiting, but I think this has got to the point where it was so blatant that they called them in. Now, to lose 2 state championships and 2 runner-up championships, this is not just one guy who barrels in and gives them all the stuff. This was documentation. I'm hearing phone records, emails, all kinds of things.
I'm hearing thumb drives.
And so they cheated, and they got caught, and so has John Calipari, and so has Bill Belichick. And don't think for a second that Nick Saban and Urban Meyer and everybody else doesn't do it. So as far as the particulars, I ask you, what is allowed in high school as recruiting, and where did they go over the line?
I like I said on your show today, I don't know how that works with, if you were, I'm just going to make up a school. If you were at Sherwood Middle School rather than St. Thomas More up Goodwood Boulevard, and you're going to Catholic High, and you're a fantastic athlete at Sherwood Middle, is there an issue there? I don't know how that works. Now, were you a ninth grader at Madison Prep or a Struma, and then for your 10th grade year, after you were, a standout freshman in JV or whatever, you're all of a sudden at Catholic High or U High or Parkview or I'm just naming private schools. I'm not picking on anybody. That's a different deal. But this is a whole deal where it's like, what's the first thing you do if you're a parent when you're buying a home? It's right there on every Zillow, any real estate website you go to.
Yeah.
One of the first things they list is the school district for that neighborhood. You're looking for that if you're a parent. If you're a minority parent and you're slated for a school that many might view as substandard, and someone's going to walk into your living room and offer you an opportunity to go to a private school, and it's going to be 100%, are you going to say no? You're going to if you get caught, it's on you. But if I'm a parent, I'm taking it all day long. I'm going to let my child get that nice education, without a doubt. So, but yeah, everybody does it. There's public schools out there that recruit.
Well, I'm just saying, you've done a lot of this research and you've talked to a lot of people.
There's people that get mad at Carr in New Orleans. There's all sorts of stuff.
But this is blatant, and it does me no good or joy to say that about my school that I went to a long time ago. But I will say this, the reputation within the alumni has certainly waned. Now, let me just say this. Pete Boudreaux was the athletic director before J.P. Kelly, and Pete Boudreaux was the old school guy that did everything the right way. And unfortunately, as you know, we live in a world of win at all costs, and so there's a lot of guys that are dirty, and they got caught, and I'm glad that they admitted to it, because at first they didn't want to have any statement about it. And you made a big point about the fact that they embarrassed Madison Prep and McKinley and
it's like I'm talking to coaches out there that were at Southern Lab when they got hit.
Yeah.
There's a Facebook post that had been screen grabbed and sent all over town where one of the coaches at McKinley it was upset about on Monday about how it was hush hush, and then of course 3 hours later Catholic put out their statement, but
didn't they have press conferences to dole out the sanctions?
Yeah.
Okay, and yet, hold on. Somebody is actually trying to tell people that listen to him that Eddie Bonine is against Catholic High. Well, if he was against Catholic High, he would have put them through the wool. They would have been in public embarrassment, grade A, number one.
Exactly. If Eddie Bonine had an axe to grind against Catholic High, he would have absolutely have had a press conference and done just what you said. Now, look, I went and looked at the board, like, who are we? Who's the committee members? They got people who vote. There's a lady at Cabrini, there's a guy in DeRitter. There's people, I don't know what the total number is, 8, 10, 12. They're all over the state. They got to vote on this stuff. When did that policy go into effect? We don't release that. One thing I do know is for sure is that, what Catholic High put out in their statement, there's more to that. I think McKinley got fined $41,000. What is the fine that Catholic High got?
Yeah.
Is it 60? Is it 80? Is it 150? What is it? So I don't, but I think overall, beyond all this, the thing that makes me upset is a guy who's out every Friday night watching these games And look, I'm obviously going to see a recruit. But it's always nice if I'm at a game that's actually enjoyable to watch along with filming a recruit.
Sure.
And so, like last year, COVID was a rotten year. But, you know, you had that 1 week where Catholic High lost a game because of COVID tracing. And Acadiana lost their game. And they came together on a Monday or Tuesday and said, let's play. And you got a game that you normally wouldn't see. And that's the kind of game you would see in a Superdome game. Acadiana Catholic High. Well, because of this episode, I mean, if there was any chance that the public and privates were going to come back together, I think that's been shot to hell. I don't, and that's what bothers me. So.
Well, look, Emory Jones, of course, is a big mammoth left tackle for them. One of the positives I thought with Bonan and in his statement that was released is that all players that are there now are not going to have to leave, and Calicut will have postseason availability. But, you know, I ask you the question all the time, and you're around it more than me. Everybody does some semblance of recruiting. This had to be really blatant to take away 2 championships and 2 runner-ups.
Yeah, and here's the one thing that was out there during the weekend, and I know the media guys that were trying to get Bonan on the record on Sunday, it was something along the lines of, because what was out there was they were hearing that players that were, you know, believed to have been recruited were going to have to go back to their home school, public school. And that was one thing that I know that he released to them was there is no mechanism in place for the LHSAA to force a kid enrolled at a private school to go to a public school. Now, of course, then the next question was, well, does that mean they're ineligible? And then, okay, well, all right, if they were recruited there, all right, yeah, you can't make them go to another school, but when their tuition comes due, who's paying that bill now? You know, and so is there any chance that we're going to see some kids that would have normally been on the Catholic High roster, but because I don't know what the Catholic High tuition is. Somebody let us know in the chat. Is it 15 grand, 18 grand? I don't know.
Yeah. Probably 12 to 15, I think.
Okay, yeah, so, you know, are they all of a sudden at a Struma or Madison Prep or somewhere like that? Or you know, and then would they be immediately eligible? I was told they would be. So, yeah. I think there's still a lot more shoes to drop, and I think you're still going to have a lot more folks that were at Southern Lab and McKinley and elsewhere that are still furious about them changing this rule. And you can say it was done in the middle of the night or whatever. Then they need to take it up with that committee, those committee members at the LHSAA. But I think that's one of the reasons why the LHSAA is always going to have a bad approval rating and a bad view from the public, is because of actions like this, where they do stuff in secrecy, and it just seems like, it's like the NCAA. They're no different. I mean, who likes the NCAA? The LHSAA is no different.
NCAA just lost a legal case 9-0, so they know all about getting shut out.
Yeah, Blaine says we offered a kicker. Yes, they did. Will Bettridge got an offer. LSU's offering tight ends. A lot of offers out there. We've got a lot of that on the TigerBait message board. We're backing up on some questions. Let me fly through.
Let's get to them. Enough of Calicut, enough of the coaching search. Mike Bianco stayed at Ole Miss. So
Charles Duncan, is Glenn Gilbo correct with his 3 finals, or is it typical BS? I think he's wrong. I think Glenn's got it wrong. And I think
that.
Yeah. So.
Well, let me ask you something. Has Glenn gotten anything right on this coaching search so far?
Oh, here we go.
Well, no. But here's what my point I want to make. When you're a good AD, see, what happened is that we had to leave in F. King Alexander for all these years, and these guys were clowns. And I've said this many times to you, when you are interviewing somebody of incredible, this is a catch, the last thing he needs to know with his employer right now is that, hey, I'm looking at another job. And with Oliva and F. King, it was a nightmare, and this is what a good AD is supposed to do. He throws stuff out there. He sees who the leak is. He sees who's biting. And once again, Vanderbilt loses. I guarantee you'll have a very quick decision from Tim Corbin. And if he says no, and he could, but if he does say no, then you're going to have a coach. I'm predicting that next Wednesday night, you've got a new baseball coach to talk about.
Dale Goodrich Sr., when is Buddy joining Garrity Broadcasting and taking over Hannegriff's time slot? They already got that show covered. They got 2 guys in that slot. A couple of new guys. I heard a little bit of the show first week, but I haven't gone back in and listened. But they filled that slot, and Buddy's doing his show on the TuneIn app every day from 1 to 3. So you can catch him there. And of course, when he joins us each week, when we're not conflicting with his hot date nights.
Yeah.
Let's see. Louisiana's loaded at running back. Yes, and Trevante Citizen coming in for an official visit this weekend from Lake Charles Prep. As of now, he's the one guy that we're showing as an official visitor. But I was told late this afternoon that there could be more. So stay tuned to TigerBait. We'll have more on that as the info comes available. So let's see.
Give us an update. They wanted my numbers from Cox, and I don't have all of that stuff in front of me. I was watching it earlier, but I'm pulling Vandy to lose, Mike. And as we said, because here's the good thing. I mean, aren't you getting a little tired of it, dealing with it every day?
What's that?
The LSU baseball coaching search.
Yeah, I mean,
No, because of what
it
happened.
It keeps on your toes.
It does, but because of what happens has been so erroneous. Listen, folks,
And it gets people mad at each other.
well, it gets people mad at the media. Let me tell you something. This is the way it's supposed to happen. We're used to clowns up there at LSU letting everything leak out. This is the way you're supposed to do business. And trust me when I tell you, my gut feeling is that it's a Kim Mulkey 2.0 story. He's going to come in.
I'm with
and
you.
It's the perfect storm for Tim Corbin to leave Vandy.
I've said it in New Orleans radio. I've said it on every show, on my message board. I'm not backing off of Tim Corbin. And maybe I'm gonna have y'all gonna have to come in here next week with the world's biggest spatula and get all the eggs off my face. But I'm still saying Corbin is the target.
Well, I'll be easy. If Corbin doesn't take the job, I'm not showing up next Wednesday night. I'll have a date next Wednesday night.
Kenny Haynes, 5'4", trees in the top of the 7th.
I mean, no disrespect to Vanderbilt. They won it last year. They don't have the hitting that they had last year. And, boy, how about Mississippi State with a big comeback victory last night? And, of course, NC State has looked fantastic.
Gerald McCain, Vitello, hell no in all caps. Have you seen how him and his coaching acts? We don't need that garbage.
Well, that's what I said earlier. That's not a Scott Woodward type of hire, Mike. We've said that.
Gerald, Blake Ruffino needs your address. Let's see. Let's see what else we got. Guys, hit me with some more comments if I missed you. Dale Goodrich says, I'm for Vandy and Mississippi State losing. Nothing good for LSU with any SEC team winning. I kind of disagree on that.
Well, look, I want to talk more football tonight because we've been inundated with this baseball talk, and granted, it is a big time topic. But my perfect scenario is to see them announce at a press conference on Monday, and then you get all the free pub in the country. Everybody during the game. Oh, by the way, Coach X got named as the LSU baseball coach. You got possibly 3 nights to do it, certainly minimum of 2, Monday, Tuesday, 2 out of 3. So I think that's the perfect time. And I think Scott Woodward is going to come to an end with this thing. And let's just hope he gets Corbin, because right now, he, to me, is the best candidate. I know a lot of people are saying he's going to be 60. He's going to be 60 on August 5th, Mike. But you know what? 5 good years, you retire at 65, perfect scenario.
Brian Andy Pint, hey Mike Scroll, did you get married last week in Cancun, or was that Sean Payton? I've been gotten that I look like Sean Payton from a lot of people for years, but I wonder whose face is getting fatter now. I'm worrying that it's me. So.
Well, I've always had a fat face, regardless.
I think it was Gilbo. I think Gilbo was the first one who said, "Man, did anybody ever tell you look like Sean Payton?" And I've gotten it. I probably get it at least once a week.
He got married in tennis shoes last week. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it once a week from somebody that says, "You ever tell you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Sean Payton." Kenny Russell. Hey, Mike, what's going on with Tackett? Curtis from Manny. He's making a lot of visits everywhere but LSU. When's he coming in? We'll see. I'm looking forward to see him play next football season. I was hoping to see him at camp. But he's taking a lot of visits, and I think they're taking the tact of Tackett Curtis is that his film from last football season should speak for itself. And look, his offers have proved that he can get away with it for now. So, but you know, when you get guys at camp that get it done, and you have so many guys that you need, and Blake Baker, you know, we're going to see how it plays out. You know, he's still got time. He's not a class of 2022. He's class of 2023. So big timer at Manny, offers from everywhere, and I'm going to be logging some miles this football season.
I saw he had just gone on a visit, and he, like you said, he had. Is he a?
What is he in Oklahoma, Arkansas recently? He's been everywhere.
Well, you mentioned Blake Baker. I did read up about Harold Perkins really having an awesome.
Harold Perkins is the guy for him.
Yeah, I think that's the guy that Blake Baker would love to bring in.
New Orleans ties, and
yeah, family loves LSU.
And see, and that's the kind of guy right there where it makes a dent at A&M. Like, you know, because you still have those guys with Louisiana ties in that Houston area from Katrina and or whatever. Sure. In fact, when I call him for an interview, he's got a 504 number.
Okay.
So there you go. So if Buddy had to buy a Diet Coke on the next LSU coach, will he bet that Diet Coke on Corbin?
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
I'm all in, and I would, of course, look, we're all guessing. Anybody that sits here and tells you that this is exactly what's going to happen is BSing everybody. Now, Woodward and Corbin know to the extent of what they have discussed. You agree with me? They've had discussions, earlier discussions, or with his agent? This is not at first base.
I know before Maneri officially retired, I was getting from a source that Corbin would talk.
Yeah.
Okay. Got a question, but first, let me. I want to talk about Pride Roofing. We can't do this show every week without them. Thanks to Mike Faraday and Alex Martinez for being a sponsor of us each and every week. Fantastic guys. Broadmoor High School grad, LSU grad. Of course, their big main location is in Albany, but they've got locations all the way from Sulphur, Louisiana to Gulf Shores, Alabama. They've got the best warranty on a roof, both commercial and residential, than anybody in the business. Better Business Bureau A+ rated. They manufacture a lot of the components of the roofs in-house. I've seen some of the equipment and the investments they've made in order to bring you the best quality stuff. There's nothing builder grade that they do. If you've got a middle class home, they can probably get your roof torn off in the morning and a new one up by the evening. They're that good. And they're general contractors. The guys that own it actually know how to wield a hammer. They're not just guys making money and hiring guys to do all the work. They're involved and they go to all the jobs. So and one of the big things that they're doing right now is being a part of TigerBait.com, the official roofing company of TigerBait, and they're going to keep running this promo, is that if you call them for a free roof inspection, you're out nothing. You call them up at 225-275-2041 and ask for, you want your roof inspected to see what it's going to cost for you to get a new roof, if you've got a little bit of damage, whatever it might be. You call them and ask for the free roof inspection and tell them you heard about them on TigerBait. They're going to pay for you to have TigerBait free for a year. So you get a free roof inspection and free TigerBait. You can't beat it, and they're paying the bill. I'm not giving them anything for free. They're paying for it. So you cannot beat that deal. Call Pride Roofing, and I can't speak enough about them. I love the fact that a lot of our sponsors that we have, and we're going to have some more coming on board during football season. If you've got a business, by the way, send me an email, mike@tigerbait.com. We've got some opportunities for you. But Pride Roofing, special guys, and 275-2041. Go to their website. I have it in the description box. You can click on that. And there's an 800 number there as well. But so can't speak enough about them. And thanks to Mike and Alex as always.
Job well done is a job done by Pride with Pride Roofing. Hey, let's also interact and interject that they care about this state, and they have when all of the flooding and all the Lake Charles and all the other stuff, we just had the flooding 6 weeks ago, they go the extra mile. And by the way, in the New Orleans area, 985-222-3000. $32.96.
How do you remember that?
I just looked at it and I memorized it.
Man, okay. So, yeah, you bring up about how they care and what they do. You know, we had the flooding here, the flash flood that happened, how many weeks now? 3 or 4 weeks ago?
I thought it was 5.
Where you had
whatever.
some homes in Shenandoah and Parkview.
Yeah.
You had some over by Our Lady of the Lake, some areas there that flooded. And they went from doing roofs to wielding their contractor work and started doing sheetrock and helping people get that stuff torn out and sheetrock and floating and doing all that stuff. So working with ServPro and all those sorts of things. So they do it all at Pride Roofing. And tell them you heard about it here. Like I said, guys, very much appreciative of them. Hey, and by the way, please do me a favor. If you like the show and you're on YouTube or Facebook, please share to your Facebook timeline. Or if you're a part of any of the LSU groups, please share our live show to those groups. And hit the like button. If you're on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Every time we go live, you'll know immediately. So much appreciative for you guys that do that for us each and every week. Our show's growing. Got 215 people in here right now concurrent, so over 2 platforms. Let's see what else. Kenny Russell with a good question. Kenny's always got great questions. Is there any chance Aaron Anderson flips? I've seen he's been on Bama's campus at least twice this month for visits. I talked to a source Saturday when, of course, Aaron was back there. I said, getting nervous, anything to worry about with Aaron Anderson? He said, no, indeed. And so LSU's confidence level with Aaron Anderson is very, very good. But let me tell you something. If you were to lose him, that would be one that you would absolutely be sick about. Y'all know I can't speak enough high praise for Aaron Anderson and what he can do for Carr. He's a fantastic football player. And like I been saying, I think he's the best receiver in the state this year, and I think he would have been the best receiver in the state last year.
And oh, by the way, Alabama came in at the last minute last year and took a very similar player in JoJo Earl. So, hey, look, we talk about skilled people at LSU, and it's going to be so good, Mike, to get back to 100% attendance. So happy for my people that all the people that I know have booked already now going to the Rose Bowl night of September 4th. We know it's on Fox at 7:30. LSU, I think those fans are going to dominate and take over the Rose Bowl. I'm not expecting more than 60,000 in there because UCLA, when you go to California, UCLA football's on page 7 or 8 of the sports page.
Can you imagine UCLA fans if you've really got, not just LSU fans, but you got the LSU fans out there that are really doing the tailgate? And they get a witness of what that is.
Man, it's a different world.
Yeah, in fact, I don't even know what their tailgate situation is. They might even allow it.
Yeah,
who knows?
But I'm excited for football and get back to some normalcy. And you know what, Aaron Anderson, you deserve to have your moments in Tiger Stadium. I think he's going to be a great Tiger. I really do.
Dean Arnold, no whistlers to follow Corbin, please.
Oh goodness. By the way, Chris Giat and the host of LSU Fans that went to Oregon, Mike, took over that stadium and were big factors. But you would not believe some of the things that he told me about the Tennessee fans. He said, yeah, they got class, drop the C in the L. They got a bunch of asses over there. Instead of runs, they were scoring points. And, of course, there was a confrontation with Alan Dunn and a Tennessee fan. They were throwing stuff on the team and Maneri. They booed Maneri after it's all over. And, look, when you're trying to build from the ground up, we saw it with Nick Saban. What happened with Nick Saban in this town? He got everybody to believe. Hell, everybody was dressing like the guy.
Brooke Trout, look.
No, but I'm saying he got everybody to believe. That's what Tony Vitello is trying to do. But as far as Tennessee fans and baseball knowledge and integrity and class, you got a better chance of seeing God.
Ronald John Elias, where do you get info, Mike? Please address. Info as far as what? Can you elaborate on that question, Ronald? I'm sorry. I'm not sure when you posted that what it was in reference to.
And you never divulge your source. I don't care.
But I will say, I probably have to charge my phone about 3 times a day, particularly right now with everything that's going on. And it's Buddy told me, it warned me 3 weeks ago, you're going to burn yourself out because this is going to go a whole month. And sure enough, we're almost at a whole month. So let's see. Dale Goodrich says, I went to Los Angeles for the Saints-Rams game a couple of years ago. That same weekend, Oklahoma was playing UCLA in the Rose Bowl. There were free tickets outside.
And they had, I looked up that crowd, 54,000, and there were more OU fans than UCLA fans.
Doug knows, like you said, Tennessee fans don't know baseball.
No, they don't.
Dane Bergeron, paybacks are hell for Tennessee when they have to come to Baton Rouge. And Dane also said earlier, I forgot to say, that he listened to your show earlier today, and he's going to go try your barbecue restaurant on Coursey.
Oh, man, Bayou Smokehouse, really good.
And I've had it. The brisket is unbelievable. 14 hours. Go try that on Coursey, folks.
I gotta pay back. You told me that they would get out of the Oregon Regional.
I live to eat, and believe me, that is some great brisket.
Yeah.
Might be the best brisket I've had in this city so far.
Well, they do a good job, and look, we just like to have a little fun out here.
And they have a potato thing. They have a little potato wedge. Have you had those?
Of course.
He's cutting potatoes long ways, and he's frying them up. It's better than any French fry you'll ever eat.
And look, I didn't eat, the last time I ate a big heavy meal, I looked like I was pregnant, so I didn't eat tonight before the show, and now you're making me hungry.
No, I want to go there just to get a cheeseburger. I wonder how good a cheeseburger might be. Brody Badgett, I think it might be Cliff Godwin. If it was Cliff Godwin, we would have a coach right now, and he probably would have.
No, not necessarily. If Corbin would turn it down, I think Cliff Godwin could be the fallback.
Okay,
guy.
yeah. But
I think that's when he might be saying.
Right, but if he was the guy, like that was your target, not only would he have been introduced by now, he probably would have already been on 3 or 4 radio shows and met the Rotary.
But that's why it tells you that Corbin is the #1 guy. He's going to make. Scott Woodward is going to make Tim Corbin tell him no, and you know what? I think he's going to say yes.
Kenny Russell, I guess Coach Raymond isn't going after the Allen kid from Lafayette Christian. Jordan Allen, I watched him at camp. Very good football player. I don't know what they're not seeing. I wonder maybe if there's some link that he's missing. That could be a part of it. Look, you see Jordan Allen, and then a few minutes later, Elias Ricks walks by in street clothes, and you're looking at how tall Elias Ricks is. It's like, who you think back, like who was the first really big corner? Was it Thurl Simon at about 6'3"?
Yeah, they listed Thurl Simon at 6'4".
I mean, and from then on, it's been a steady stream of guys like that, and so we'll see. I know they're going to keep watching him.
But you know what, Mike? Come on. Look, skilled players and DBs and receivers and athletes, they're a dime a dozen in Louisiana.
Jake Nola, my second cousin. Do you think Days comes back?
I really think that it's starting to look more and more like Darius Days is going to come back. And Josh LeBlanc and Seneca Knight both entered into the transfer portal. And I made a few calls, and it was told to me that Josh LeBlanc was very upset that they didn't know how to say his name. They didn't correct the broadcasters, and it's one of the reasons that he left. Folks, we're in Louisiana, South Louisiana. It's a silent C. I chide and get the red ass every time somebody says LeBlanc. It's ridiculous, but the kid didn't have enough offense, and he did some of the grunt work last year. Will Wade, you're going to have a program to watch LSU women's and men's basketball this year, and it's moving up in the right.
Chris Carrier was 6'5".
Carrier was probably, but he was a safety. He wasn't a corner.
Yeah, he wasn't a corner.
He wasn't a corner. He was a safety.
And some questioning what his speed was.
Yeah. Speaking of that,
I'm not taking a slap at Chris. I see him at LSU games, always waiting to get in, but let's see.
Well, look, I got to ask you. I forgot to ask you today. What is Collins, the quarterback that got offered?
Ricky Collins from Woodlawn.
What's he run the 40 in?
That's a good question. I didn't see what he got tested in, but
Okay.
he's got to be a 4.6-ish, 4.6 guy.
All right. Somebody sent me 4.95, and I said, no, that don't sound right.
You know what? And that's one of the things why I like Walker. He runs a legit 4.6. That kid can move. And I believe he probably now is the fastest guy on STM's football team. And unfortunately, he might have to run a lot this upcoming season. All right, let's see, guys.
Give us an update. As I said, I was watching, and I don't have my password memorized for Cox. I very seldom pull up the digital, but give us an update on Vandy and Stanford. Do you care who wins? Are you like me? You'd rather Vandy lose to see the process start?
Let's get it going.
Yeah,
I'd like to see him lose.
yeah.
I think a lot of LSU fans that are Corbin centric were hoping they'd lose Saturday. Randall Albrecht, how many years does Corbin have left in the tank?
Well, the other thing that we have not mentioned, and I don't know this, but what about the buyout? What kind of buyout?
I was told 2 or 3 weeks ago that his buyout was not
factor.
Was not going to be a problem to overcome.
Okay.
And I was also told in that same call, which I'm now told the Tennessean has put out, but I was told at that same time that all this stuff that he was over $2 million was not true, that he actually made less than Palmineri.
No, Palmineri made 1 point.
He actually was
one something.
But now where I think he goes over Maneri is he's got some big incentive clauses.
Yeah.
And so.
And they're a private university. They don't release anything on their.
Yeah, but this stuff of him being 2 something, that.
Okay, well. But look, Scott is going to offer him big bucks.
Yeah, I mean, because look, you got to do the math for him. And believe me, that's something Woodward does. He knows, okay, what is the state income tax in Tennessee? What is the property tax in the county he lives in versus what parish he would likely live here? State income tax, moving costs, what's the inflation rate on homes right now? You know, all that stuff has to be factored in.
But once again, is he really being appreciated? And listen, we talked about this last time. If a guy is chronological 59 or 60, he's going to be 60. I looked this up, 60 August 6th, August 5th. Does he act 60? Does he? And of course, the 60 nowadays.
That is the one thing I will say on him.
You don't know how much pep he's got left?
Yeah, I do. He does. He looks, and I think it's probably because he does stay lean. And sometimes he looks a little weathered, but I think he looks his age.
Yeah.
And actually, I think he looks a little older than he is. But
yeah. We'll see.
But I do think, like, when he doesn't wear the hat and he's just in street clothes out and about, I think he probably looks better than he does wearing a uniform with that. He's one of those guys that looks goofy in a ball cap.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Russell. Kenny Russell's just nailing us with some good stuff, always. I know we have Walker Howard committed, but the whole Holstein situation is leaving me kind of pissed, to be honest. Just the way he's kind of just ignored LSU. I don't know that that's one way, Kenny. I don't know how hard LSU's going after Holstein, to be honest with you. And I think it's a mutual thing. I think it's just kind of like I don't know if it's an unsaid thing. I don't know what conversations have been had. But Holstein is at Zachary because Walker's at STN. You know, was ahead of him at St. Thomas More, and I think right now Holstein's probably leaning A&M, and I wonder how long we're going to have to wait till he makes a decision. It was this time last year that Walker made the announcement that LSU was where he was going. So. And you know, does Arch Manning make a decision soon? How soon? How long does he go?
Yeah.
I wonder if Arch goes a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think he would. And look, connecting the dots here, and I get this all the time elsewhere, and I think people hear you and other people say it, but this upcoming quarterback race with Miles Brennan and Max Johnson, do you still feel like Miles Brennan may leave if he's not named the starter?
No, I don't.
You think he'll stay?
I think he's going to stay.
Yeah.
We're getting a whole lot of bring the nerds. So does that you guys giving us the message? Is the game over already?
We need an update. Like I said, my phone wanted to.
Guys, let us know. Is it a final? Because y'all are all giving us bring the nerd. That must mean Vanderbilt's done.
Is it over already?
Look at Ryan Thibodeau, man. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan Thibodeau gives us the $2 in the super chat. Very much thank you. This is something new tonight. We turned them on, and we'll apply that to new video gear and other things we can use on the site this upcoming football season. Very, very much appreciated. No, they're still playing. It's 5-4 in the 7th inning. It's not over yet.
Yeah, I think everybody's got a hashtag. And look, the bottom line that I think people have lost track of is having confidence in Scott Woodward.
Oh, I have it.
No, but everybody's fretting and acting like, oh my God, I mean, why haven't they named a coach? And this guy's saying these are the three, and these are, everybody's been fishing, and you know what? Scott Woodward's a hell of a fisherman.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
I just, look,
He's going to reel in somebody that you're proud of.
if he was stressed and he was like, felt like, boy, I didn't handle this right. You know, I did. If you can debate whether you think Maneri was halfway pushed out the door, whatever you want to believe, but if a guy was stressed and think that he was not getting it right, I don't think I would have seen him out at LSU football camp Friday, and just wanting to watch what was out there, and while what's going on in Omaha, while everybody's also tracking planes, thinking he's out and about, or maybe even in Omaha. I think he would have probably been in his office, you know, working the phones on that act, rather than wondering what recruits, particularly when he was out there on Friday, which was probably one of the lowest attended and weakest days it was the weakest day of the whole summer. So,
but look, you can't worry about what you can't control. Sit back, relax. We're pulling for Vandy to lose. It will ignite a torch. I think Corbin's classy enough, and Blake was talking about this with Vitello. Look, when you lose a game like that, you got to go back on the plane, and you got to have exit interviews, and you got to talk to those guys. Then you get into that room, and you talk to the AD, and that agent is telling you how to play that discussion. And so, you know, there's obvious that he's been waiting to make Corbin tell him no. So, but he's got a contingency plan too. And we're just going to have to wait. I'm still predicting that if they lose tonight, by next week at this time, LSU will have a new baseball coach.
Let's see what we got, guys. By the way, Jamie Brady asked me earlier, and I forgot to get to him. Why isn't anybody talking about Lamonis at Mississippi State? That was a name that has kind of filtered out the last few days. You had the coach at Arizona. His name's kind of been an undercurrent. So, I mean, look, a lot of these guys are pro and cons. I mean, these are all good coaches. And I agree with you. And there's guys in the chat saying it. Scott Woodward, people believe in him. You know, I'm a guy 4 months ago that was getting after Woodward a little bit, saying, what has this guy done? He's been here over 2 years now. He doesn't have anything on the wall. That you still got guys in compliance that people thought were going to get the boot as soon as he walked in the door. Really not much. And then all of a sudden he gets Kim Mulkey. And what if he gets Kim Mulkey and Corbin, or somebody like Corbin, in the span of a couple of months? I mean, I don't know what you're thinking if your athletics directors anywhere else in the country and you're seeing that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane.
Well, and listen, the coaches around the country love it because LSU, in part, is driving the price of business up. Tony Vitello is going to get a major raise. Tim Corbin is going to make appreciably more money next year, either from Vandy or LSU, and I'm still going with, I think at the press conference you're going to hear it was the perfect storm, just like we heard with Kim Mulkey.
5-4 top of the 8th. And let's see, we got, how would the current roster embrace Corbin if he's the guy? I think they would be happy.
Well, look, what's the first thing he's going to do? He's going to bring pitching in. And, you know, I'm not going to sit there and rub track marks all over anybody's face because they've left, but LSU has had a really bad 4 or 5 year stretch of bringing in lefties. Mike, I'm watching NC State. They got one guy to close one game. He's throwing 96. The second night, they got another lefty throwing 97. LSU a few years ago didn't have any lefties. You got one decent lefty on the roster, Javen Coleman, who hit 92 and pitched better. But we are in a different era with college athletics. The transfer portal, are you kidding? Everybody's got a free pass to go wherever you want. So there are going to be some players, just like Kim Mulkey took some players from Baylor, that are going to be enticed. And this is the thing where we got to give a tribute to Paul Maneri. There has been a lack since Nolan Cain took the job. You heard why he took the job at A&M, huh?
No.
They wanted him because he was a good recruiter and he had the recipe for ice. And let me tell you, I thought Nolan Cain was at third base watching Mississippi State last night. They put the stop sign on a guy, and the guy almost ran up his back. But that all being said, it's been fun with all this baseball. But Paul Maneri has been the glue with the recruits when Cain left, and he's been keeping them informed. So kudos for Coach Maneri, because they are all asking the question, who's it going to be, and am I going to have a spot? And that's going to take time for that to shake out.
Roy Holloway, they're losing recruits with this delay.
And they'll bring in more recruits, too.
Yeah, if it's who we
Come
think
on,
it
Tim
is.
Corbin knows more about pitching than almost anybody.
Let's see. Kenny Russell. Man, I love Kenny Russell. I think Corbin, I like Corbin a lot. I think Vitello is good, but his personality would rub someone like Woodward the wrong way. And that's Kenny, you and I are on the same page. I've told people this. I watch him. I watch his antics. I watch his demeanor. He just is not, to me, a Woodward guy. He's just not. And I'm not saying that the way he does things is inappropriate or doesn't work, because it does work. I just don't think, knowing Scott Woodward's age, the type of guys he's hired in the past, the way he operates, I don't think Vitello is his kind of guy. That doesn't mean he's a bad guy or he's not a good guy. I just don't think that's his. He's not the kind of guy he goes for.
And the people that went to the Super Regional over in Tennessee said Tony Vitello fits their fan base. Oh, by the way, don't forget, everybody's got garbage.
If they want to be the Detroit Pistons of the SEC in baseball, I mean, there's a niche for that.
But what I was going to say is everybody's got baggage. This stuff comes out about Bo Schembechler and all of this stuff. Tennessee in football, remember, they were giving you a Happy Meal with green money in there. All the things implicated about LSU. I want to tie all that in. Everybody cheats. I see people cheating on the interstate every day, driving 85 and texting. I see people cheat on their wife, their taxes, whatever. If you get away with it, you're happy. But if you get caught...
I went to a Hall of Fame coach, Yvette Girard, let me sit with her in her box at the regional when they played the Cajuns. And she was telling me stories about recruiting in softball that were just unbelievable.
Well, they're not publicized because it's less popular.
Yeah, I mean, it goes on in everything.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I mean, you talk to some people in Lafayette that have softball girls, and the recruiting that goes on, and how some of those softball girls are ending up at man, it's every sport.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, go to TigerBait and subscribe. We want to have you as a premium subscriber. Choose the annual package. Get billed one time a year. Go to TigerBait.com. We're going to be all over the baseball coaches search, recruiting, official visits this weekend, the works. I got another. We added a new writer on the site. He's got his first story going up in the morning. So we've got a lot of good stuff happening at TigerBait.com.
Hey, quick shout out for Dennis Shaver and the LSU men's track program. We asked this question for about the last 2 years, Mike. Which LSU team was going to be the next national championship team to hoist up the trophy? 2002, the last time LSU won it. Of course, Pat Henry was the coach then. So congrats to Coach Shaver and Benny Brazil and all those guys. By the way, unbelievable what track and field athletes are doing. We know that gymnastics, Jay Clark brought some new coaches in. We know that Coach Mulkey is going to fill that PMAC some nights. Will Wade, how about all of this influx of new talent that Will Wade is bringing in here? It is a great time to be a Tiger fan, and all we ask you is that you take your patience pills and hold on and have trust that Scott Woodward is going to reel in the right guy, because this ain't Frick King Alexander and Joe Oliva.
Okay, now the next question is, of course, the COVID restrictions have gotten better since Mulkey was hired. Does the new baseball coach get a bigger crowd than she got for the opening press conference?
I don't know. That was pretty monumental, but we'll see. Look, I don't care about the press conference. I just think that the next guy.
I like that, though. Will Wade had a nice one in the Union. Mulkey had one in the PMAC. I like that they do that.
Yeah.
It makes it an event. Charles Duncan. Percent chance on Harold Perkins, Shamar Stewart, some of the offensive line recruits. I'm just going to go after those first two, Charles. Give me the other guys on the Tiger Den message board. Give me some names, though. Harold Perkins, I think LSU's in great shape with him. I think they're in real good shape with him. And Shamar Stewart, I think that kid's Miami.
Yeah.
So let's see what else we got here. Troy Bieniemy, Westgate's Derek Williams says Bama is his leader. Can LSU change that? Man, I've been looking to see Derek, and I didn't get to see him in person last season, but I know when they played St. Thomas More, guys I know over there were just talking about what an athlete he is. So
is he 22 or 23?
23.
Okay. By the way, Fitzgerald West, we broached this subject today on the radio, but I thought it was funny. Fitzgerald West wants to be classified as an athlete, but he did get the Bama offer. Now, we've been talking about the fence that Coach O has been putting up there, and it's been pretty good, and then they stole the DN linebacker from Florida and JoJo Earl at the end of the last recruiting segment. But
I'll tell you what
do you see them coming back in the state more?
Let's do this, Fitzgerald. You want to be classified an athlete? I want to line you and Emory Jones up side by side and let y'all run the 40 against each other. Let's see who wins.
Really?
Because I think I might put my money on Emory.
Really?
Yeah, and he's a guard.
Well,
so I'm not going to list you as an athlete, Fitz, and I think you probably need to be you need to be looking, you need to be down with your hand on a football and practicing every afternoon.
LSU wants him as a center, but he wants to didn't you tell me he wants to play DN or D tackle?
Yeah.
You don't know?
No, he can be a starter at center, but I think as a defensive lineman, it's.
But my question to you, why did Alabama offer him?
Well, because I think he's got loads of potential at center.
Okay. Oh, they look at him as center as well?
And he's very smart.
Okay.
So we'll see. Make that man an athlete. Blake. Let's see.
I didn't say too much about racing in the 40. You know what that brought up, huh?
What?
Cardell Thomas was pretty fast in high school.
Track.
And hey, I'm hoping that Cardell Thomas and all those guys, Mike, this is going to be really fun. We know that LSU's got a lot of depth at a lot of spots. We also know that there's some thin spots, like tight end and safety and linebacker and holes you got to fill. But it would be good to see the Bradfords and the Cardell Thomases and all these other guys. I'm really fired up about what Coach Brad's going to bring to the offensive
Craig
line.
Duncan, why would Corbin leave Vandy at 60 years old? He has built Vandy from the ground up, so it doesn't make sense. Can't be about money. Oh, it sure can be about money.
Have you seen their ballpark and their facilities?
Yeah, and it needs work. It's not there yet, and I don't know that he's going to get there. He's got an athletic director that I'm told they don't see eye to eye at all. And LSU's probably going to sink another $15 million in Alex Box, and he's going to get a big jump, and we'll see.
Well, wait, who was that said that?
Craig Duncan.
Craig, would you have gone after Kim Mulkey? How many people told you Kim Mulkey wouldn't? In fact, John Brady told Jordy Collada, there ain't no way Kim Mulkey going to come to LSU. You don't know if you're going to make the sale until you ask for the order.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
Now, I
folks.
will say, of course, one of the things that you cannot deny about what he's got at Vanderbilt that he would not have at LSU.
He's got the advantage.
He's got that scholarship program, minority scholarship program. I don't know what the name they put on it. but that is a big boon to him and his ability. You know, for years people would say LSU's got an unfair advantage with Tops in Louisiana, and that program he's got makes Tops look like it's nothing.
Now, I want to interject that the other factor with Kim Mulkey, of course, is that she was coming home and her mom and everybody were tickled pink that she was going to end her career here in the state of Louisiana. And that's what we don't know. But this is more of a Woodward hire type of guy than any of these other guys that have been thrown out there. And listen, folks, if you have a professional AD, the media is not supposed to know every move that you're making. And it goes to show you what competence does with a search versus some of the other incompetence.
And I've heard someone say that the max you'll get out of Corbin is 7 years.
Well, maybe even 5 years.
Well, what's wrong with 5 or 7 years?
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of people at the 5 or 7 year mark that were already tired of Maneri.
No, well, I'm not saying that, but my point is this.
Oh,
Mike.
yeah, there was.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, look, Coach Maneri did a good job, but he certainly had some pain at the end. And the lack of development of, look, I respect and like Alan Dunn a lot, but we heard before this year, man, LSU's got 7 freshman pitchers that are coming in, and it just didn't happen. One of the things, as we know in college baseball, when you go to Omaha, pitching is a little more important than when you play in a little crackerjack stadium like Tennessee. And that's, oh, by the way, what Tony Vitello do in Omaha this year? He went over.
Yeah.
So,
Corbin might be like Wayne Graham at Rice, where he coaches to 117 years old.
Well, but 5 to 6, 7 years, and then you hand it off once the program is reestablished as the best baseball program in the conference.
Stanford bases loaded with 2 outs. Corbin pulling his picture. Charles Duncan Woodward is a Mark Emmert clone. Is that good? I don't know if that's...
Well, they work together, obviously, at LSU and at Washington and all that. Dr. Emmert is getting a lot of criticism now for the NCAA. By the way, we've got NIL. I'm still waiting. Do you think John Bell Edwards signs it into law relatively soon? Now, don't forget, all these other laws in these states go into effect July 1. Well, look, we're getting close. I mean, something's got to come down. They finally got legalized betting here. That looks like it's going to be approved. But, man, this is changing times in college.
Now, what's that going to happen for you? I mean, think about you can get advertisers now for betting. I mean, it's going to be, what's that going to do for media outlets with all the betting companies wanting to spend money in ad dollars?
Lock it away.
I need to get my piece of that.
Well,
Travis Cantrell, what's the story on Jordan Allen? We got a lot of Jordan Allen people tonight. I think they're going to still keep watching him. We'll see what happens. I like the way he looked at camp. I did. But like I said, I don't know if they like the way he changes. If it's an issue of the way he changes directions, if it's his length, is it his height? What is it? They're going to keep watching him. I know that. Charles Duncan, condos in the outfield at the box. I tell you what, there's one thing that I've heard from a lot of people about making renovations to Alex Box, and certainly most people think Arkansas has probably got the premier facility, but the one that looks like the most fun is Mississippi State.
Mississippi State at Ole Miss now, they have a party out there.
I mean, and that's what you got to get. You got to have those areas out there where someone's flipping burgers. I've seen a little stand, it looks like a little tiki hut. I don't know if they're mixing margaritas. I mean, you got to have some of that stuff. I don't know if you need a water feature, kids going down a water slide. I don't know what you can put back there where you can shoehorn it in. You're not far over that outfield fence. You're butting up against the backside of the indoor practice facility. You got that coulee back there. That's where that rally possum came out of. So I don't know where you put some of this stuff. But I know one thing they want to get rid of is they want to get rid of aluminum stands and make it, cement and all that stuff.
I thought you were going towards the Intimidator, and you and some other people have said take that down. But that is party history, and if LSU is lucky enough to get back with the right hire, the right recruiting, and look, you see how many awesome baseball players now instead of going straight to LSU. And a lot of it is money because these other schools can offer more perks. But, man, if you can just lock down Louisiana and then bring from all over, national recruiting for baseball more so than the others because of JC and others, I'm, if it's Corbin and it goes right, I think they might add to that intimidator here in the next 3 or 4 years.
All right, guys, we've set a record tonight for the longest show we've ever done. We're at 1 hour and 10 minutes. Big thanks to all of you guys for participating. Please go to TigerBait and subscribe. We want to have you as a premium subscriber at TigerBait. Thanks to Buddy for being in with us tonight, going overtime. We're gonna be following the coaching search, and depending on how this thing ends tonight, we might be getting some things going here. Dane Bergeron says, good show. Much thanks for you, Dane, for pointing that out. Thanks to you guys that gave us super chats tonight. I think we got a few dollars there, and we're going to put that in the main fund for some new video equipment for football season. So thanks to you guys for the super chats, and we'll be back here next week and sending text alerts as they come. If you're a subscriber to TigerBait, sending out a newsletter tomorrow. Got another big recruiting update tomorrow, and much more. So thanks for all you participating, and thanks to Pride Roofing, as always, for sponsoring our show, and we'll see you next week. Good night.